In Kenya, police are again under fire following the death of a social media blogger. Albert Ojwang was killed or died in police custody last week after he was arrested over a post on social media site X that was allegedly critical of the Deputy Inspector General of Police, Eliud Lagat. Now, in an initial statement, police said Ojwang was found unconscious in his cell. He was then taken to a city hospital where he succumbed to head injuries allegedly sustained, according to the police's version, from banging his head against a wall. But an autopsy and an investigation by a police watchdog in Kenya has said that the possibility that he might have committed suicide has been ruled out here. Let's get you more on that story. Bring in the Kenyan Human Rights Commission Senior Programs Advisor, Marvenjina. Martin, joining us by phone from Kenya this evening. Thank you so much for your time. So the Deputy Police Chief, who had allegedly been defamed by Albert Ojwang, has now resigned. Is that the beginning of the resolution of this problem?
Thank you for having me here. Let me first start by saying that we all empathize with Albert's father and his family and his wife in this time of grief. But it is our hope that they will actually see justice. But just to your question, Mr. Lagat has actually not resigned. He has actually stepped aside to allow, he did pen a letter saying that to allow for the relevant agencies to investigate. So technically, Mr. Lagat is still an employee of the National Police Service. But from where we see it, we think it's a well-choreographed plan to ensure that investigations are done in such a shoddy way to ensure that he gets back to his office. Unfortunately for us, the National Police Service has had a long and checkered history of human rights violations. For over the last, for the last decade, even despite the coming of the progressive constitution in 2010 and a raft of progressive pieces of legislation that were meant to ensure that the police discharge their duty with respect to human rights, we've seen a deeply entrenched culture of impunity, and unfortunately for us, it is being manifested in a clear way.
Right.
Now, the crime that Albert had been accused of, which is actually a civil matter, if Mr. Lagat had an issue with Albert, then he should have actually he should have actually pursued the matter within our courts of law.
And Martin, if you have so little faith, in fact, you have no faith at all, am I right, in the current authorities' ability to investigate this matter in a just manner, who then is qualified ultimately to pursue justice in a credible manner for Albert Ojwang in Kenya right now?
Ideally, as it stands, it should be the Independent Police Oversight Authority should be able to carry out an effective investigation. But as is, we have lost hope in the capabilities of the Independent Policing Oversight Authority, and that is primarily because the 25th of this month marks 1 year since the Gen Z anniversary last year. The Independent Policing Oversight Authority has not, there were 65 Kenyans who died in the last protest in 2024. They have not preferred charges against a single officer, and yet we had a litany of evidence pointing to the officer who killed the first protester, Rex Masai. So I honestly don't think that the Independent Policing Oversight Authority has the capability to investigate the current inaction, specifically the unlawful death of Albert Ojwang. However, what we would propose, we need either an independent parliamentary inquiry or a judicial inquiry, or better still, a UN process whereby either through the AU or the United Nations, whereby we could actually get to the bottom of this. But as things stand, these investigations will take forever. We will be given lip service by the different relevant agencies. And I can assure you 1, 2, or 3 months down the road, we will be told that this matter is still being investigated.
Does that mean, Martin, that the protests in Kenya will continue in this case?
Yes, the protests actually in Kenya are going to continue, and it's our hope that we'll continue protests, that citizens will continue exercising their expressive and associative rights to ensure that they reclaim the Kenya that their forefathers fought for. When the framers of our constitution enacted the 2010 constitution, we envisaged a very progressive Kenyan. However, the current administration, and by extension, and the current police, police have taken us back to pre-colonial times, where police was used as a tool of oppression by against those voices of dissent by those in power. So it is our hope that that protests will continue, and we intend to reclaim our country.
Martin Marvenjina, good to talk to you, Senior Program Advisor with the Kenyan Human Rights Commission, on The Full View.